A tattoo is so much more than just ink. It's a piece of art you carry with you forever. It can be a story, a memory, a bold statement. But we have to remember that underneath that beautiful design, it is fundamentally a medical procedure. And that means it needs some serious attention to safety. So let's dive into how you can make sure your next piece of ink is both a masterpiece and totally safe. So let's just get right to it. The big question. Is this thing you're about to get a work of art or a potential medical risk? Because look, when things go wrong, they can go really wrong. We're not just talking about a little rash, we're talking about the very real possibility of transmitting bloodborne viruses, things like hepatitis B, hepatitis C, even HIV. The stakes are definitely high, but here's the good news. These risks are almost 100% preventable if you know what to look for. And the best part is, you don't have to figure all this out on your own. This entire guide we're walking through, it's all based on official public health guidelines, the stuff written by experts to keep you safe. We've just boiled it all down to the absolute essentials, so you know exactly what you need to do every single step of the way. Okay, so where does this all start? Well, it's not when you hear that buzzing sound of the needle for the first time. Nope. Your journey to a safe tattoo starts way before that. It's all in the prep work, in the research, in the observation. This is where you really set the foundation for a safe and amazing experience. So the first time you walk into a potential studio, I want you to put on your detective hat. First, just take in the whole space. Does it look professional? Does it feel professional? It should be really well lit and obviously clean. A huge green flag is seeing separate, distinct areas for the actual tattooing versus where they clean their equipment. That separation is so important for preventing cross-contamination. Then, zoom in a little closer. Look at the surfaces, the chair, the armrest. Everything should be wiped down and covered in fresh plastic wrap. No exceptions. And finally, ask about how they keep records. A good shop that keeps professional files on each client isn't just being bureaucratic. They're showing that they're accountable and they take this seriously. The difference between a great studio and a sketchy one often boils down to one simple thing: transparency. A good, professional artist is going to be proud of their clean setup. They'll happily show you their sterilized equipment, and they will welcome any and all questions you have about hygiene. That's a massive green flag. On the flip side, what are the red flags? Well, it's all about what they might be trying to hide. If you see them reusing things that should be single-use, like little ink caps, or if the workstation is just plain dirty, that's a problem. And if you ask about safety and they get defensive or vague, that is your signal to turn around and walk right out the door. Seriously, don't even think twice. Now, it's not just about the shop, right? The artists themselves, they've got to meet some pretty high standards. They need to be in good health, no obvious skin conditions or respiratory illnesses. They should also be able to show you medical certificates that prove they're clear of communicable diseases. And maybe most importantly, they absolutely must be trained in infection prevention. This job is so much more than just artistic skill. It's a deep commitment to your health, which means things like constant hand washing and using the right protective gear. All right, so you've done your homework, you've picked a great artist, a clean studio, and now you're in the chair. The moment's here. At this point, your job kind of shifts. Now you become an active observer, just making sure that the sterile environment you chose in the first place stays sterile all the way through the process. Let's talk about the single most important piece of equipment in the room, the needle. And let me be crystal clear about this. The only standard that is acceptable is a single-use needle. What does that mean? It means it comes in a sealed, sterile package. The artist opens that package right there in front of you. It is used only on you for this one session, and then it is immediately thrown away in a proper disposal container. This is completely non-negotiable. And look, this isn't just some friendly advice or a best practice. This is a direct mandate from health authorities, and for a very good reason. Reusing a needle, even once, is the absolute fastest way to transmit incredibly serious viruses. So a brand new, sterile needle for every single person, every single time, it's the bedrock of tattoo safety. So while you're sitting there getting this amazing piece of art, here's what you should be watching for. Make sure your artist puts on a fresh pair of disposable gloves and a mask. Before they start, they should thoroughly disinfect your skin with alcohol. Watch them pour the ink. It should come from a bottle that's properly labeled and go into a brand new single-use ink cap. And any liquid they use to wipe your skin during the tattoo, that needs to be a sterile solution. Remember, you're a partner in this, so keeping your eyes open is part of the process. Okay, the needle stops. The artist wipes it down and wow, it looks incredible. But, and this is a big but, you're not done yet. Not even close.
Now, the responsibility for safety shifts completely over to you. Following the aftercare instructions isn't just a suggestion. It is absolutely crucial for preventing infection and making sure your new art heals perfectly.
That first week, it is absolutely mission critical. On day 1, just listen to your artist. Keep it covered, and like they tell you to, you're basically protecting an open wound. For the next couple of days, your main job is to wash it very gently. Use a mild soap, some water, and then always pat it dry. Don't ever rub it. Then, after a few days, you'll start to moisturize it with a thin layer of whatever ointment your artist recommended. This keeps the skin healthy and helps the whole healing process along. Look, it all comes down to 2 things, really. Keep it clean and let it heal. Simple. That means wearing loose clothes so nothing is constantly rubbing up against it. And it means, and I can't stress this enough, always wash your hands before you touch your tattoo. Now for the don'ts. These are just as important. You are going to be tempted to pick at the scabs. Don't do it. That's a natural part of healing. And finally, stay out of the water. No swimming pools, no hot tubs, no long baths, not until it's completely healed. You just don't want to introduce any bacteria to the area. You have to listen to your body here. If you start seeing things that just don't seem right, like a lot of redness that isn't going away, weird bumps, swelling that seems excessive, or if it's just super itchy for days on end, don't wait. Don't just cross your fingers and hope it gets better. Those could be signs of an infection, or maybe even an allergic reaction. Call a doctor right away. So as we start to wrap this up, I think one thing becomes super clear. Getting a safe tattoo, it isn't just on the artist, and it's not just on you either. It really is a team effort, a true partnership. So let's break down this partnership, because it's super simple when you think about it. The artist's job, their primary duty is to give you a sterile procedure in a sterile environment, period. Your job as the client, it's twofold. First, do your homework to pick a safe studio. And second, follow every single aftercare instruction to the letter. When both people in this partnership do their part, the result is always going to be a beautiful tattoo that heals safely. So, in the end, what does this all boil down to? It's this. You are commissioning a piece of custom art that's going to be displayed on the most valuable, precious canvas you will ever own, your own body. Now that you have this knowledge, you have the power to protect that canvas. You can make sure your art is a source of joy and pride and not a health risk. So, the final question is, how are you going to protect it?